Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alex, the Comic Hoarder. Thank you so much for clicking play on this video. I've got a bit of a haul for you guys today. Some really great books, some stealth buys, some keys, some awesome stuff. Hopefully you guys are excited. Here we go. I don't want to waste any time. I want to get straight into this comic book haul. The first shop that I got these books from in this haul was an archival bookstore, a really old historical bookstore in Springfield, Illinois called Prairie Archives. I've talked about this store before. I've been going there for about 15 years, and they found a box of books in their basement that they didn't remember that they had, but it kind of been collecting some moisture damage. Now there's no mold or anything like that on here. I've looked throughout the books. There's no mold present, but there's definitely some staining due to a little bit of water moisture, and there may be a little color lift due to some of the books touching each other for several years under those conditions. The first book that I picked up in what I'll now be referring to as the Cellar collection is this Phantom Stranger number 14. It's part of the DC horror line that came out in the late 60s, early 70s, and this is a Neal Adams cover and artwork. And the reason why I picked it up was because I was very interested. I've seen this on other people's hauls. I've seen it in people's Instagram posts. This looks very similar to Swamp Thing and Marvel's Man-Thing. So I wanted to do a little research and find out what was the deal. I got this for $3. This came out in August of 1971, where House of Secrets 92 came out a month earlier in July of 1971. And I think Savage Tales number 1, the first appearance of Man-Thing, came out at the beginning of summer in May of 1971. So all three within that short of a time frame. There had to either been collaboration on let's all draw swamp characters, and so House of Secrets 92 was Bernie Wrightson, and I wrote down, let me see, Savage Tales may have been a Barry Windsor Smith. I'm not 100% sure. Someone can correct me or leave it down in the comments who drew the first Man-Thing, but this has a Man-Thing shaped body, I feel like, a Man-Thing shaped limbs, and then a face similar to Swamp Thing. So it's very interesting, this character that Neal Adams created. There's a little water damage up here, but it was a very cool book to pick up for $3, and I'm happy to have it. Otherwise, it's in pretty readable condition. That's about it. The next book I picked up there is an upgrade. Unfortunately, it's an upgrade from a 1.0 to a 1.5 to about a 2.0 to 2.5. There's a little bit of staining and it needs a press, and there's some color breaking ticks on the spine, and then some color breaking creases all over the cover. But like I said, it's an upgrade, and for about 20 bucks, I'm happy to have Batman 227 Neal Adams cover. This is an homage to Detective Comics 31 from the Golden Age. So really happy to have this upgrade, and it was part of the Cellar collection. And I was also able to pick up Batman 221 within that Neal Adams artwork. This is a little bit better condition. It's probably still about a 3.5 to a 4.0. There is some moisture damage here on the side there, and some other color breaking ticks. Next two books I picked up are reprints, and I really like these because they're kind of like variants to me. They're just color differences, and they're just nice reader books, so you can flip through these and see some of the old artwork. So this is Marvel Superheroes number 23. It reprints X-Men number 4 and Daredevil number 3. What I like about that is just very similar artwork, almost the same exact artwork, but it just clips and turns the color different and then changes the label. So I was happy to pick that up, was able to flip through that and read that book without damaging the original copy. And the last one that I picked up at Prairie Archives was this other reprint, which is Marvel Superheroes number 25. And then this one, I'm not sure what it reprints, but it reprints an Incredible Hulk issue and a Daredevil issue, but it reprints X-Men number 6. And so I like the black background, and there's a little chip missing right there, but I love that black background compared to the X-Men number 6 original issue. So it was really cool to buy this again and then flip through it. But great artwork and really cool black cover. Other than that chip at the top, it's in very, very nice condition. All right, the next couple books that I'm going to show are some more modern style books, newer books, and then I'll get back into the Silver Age and Keys. But the first one is this J. Scott Campbell, X-Men Worlds Apart. I got this in a collection of X-Men books that I picked up for pretty cheap. It was about 4 short boxes of comics, and I think I got it for about $50 for the entire, and it was all X-Men filler stuff, but I was able to pull out a few keys or pretty cool covers. The next book that I picked out is a very high grade copy of Uncanny X-Men 509. I've always loved this book. I've always appreciated this one. Really nice Greg Land Psylocke cover. Like I said, this one's in really high grade, and I don't think I actually have any copies at the moment. I think I've gotten rid of all of them, but always happy to pick up this eye-catching cover. And right when I say like I'm done with buying new covers from the weekly store, they come out with Black Cat with J. Scott Campbell and Art Germ, and so I've got to pick up the A cover. This is J. Scott Campbell's cover of Black Cat. You would think that J. Scott Campbell created Black Cat, or at least he perfected Black Cat. Black Cat's first appearance was Amazing Spider-Man 194, but it seems to be my favorite artist is J. Scott Campbell on Black Cat. And as you guys know, I've got the Remark where he's got Black Cat on the side of one of his store exclusives, which is absolutely fantastic. And I've shown that plenty of times, and I'm sure I'll show it again. But this is Black Cat #1. Can't go wrong with J. Scott Campbell drawing Black Cat. And I guess it just shows how long I've had these books because I'm just now showing them. Black Cat #1. This is the Art Germ copy. I think he did a very good variant and very good rendition of Black Cat. As Wayne from the Comichaulics would say, every time I show Art Germ from now on, I'm going to have to refer to Wayne because it's Wayne and Jess's favorite artist. This would be Supergirl cosplaying as Wonder Woman, cosplaying as Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. So here it is, Art Germ. You guys have seen it all. I'm like months late to the party, so here it is. And when you're going to show Art Germ and you're going to show J. Scott Campbell, might as well show some Adam Hughes. This is Ride #1. This is an Image comic, and I know nothing about this book. I know nothing about the title. I knew it was an Adam Hughes cover, and I think the Doom 143 showed this a long time ago, so I knew I had to put it on my pull list, which I don't have a pull list. I had to put it on my mental pull list to pick this one up. Adam Hughes, can't go wrong. He's put out a lot of good recent covers, but this one has all the makings of a classic Adam Hughes cover. There's a shop in Springfield, Missouri called the Comic Cave, and I believe they just shut the doors. They weren't open in August at all, so July 31st was their last day as a comic shop, which is really unfortunate because that was a shop I looked forward to when I went down there for business. That was the place where I got the Fantastic Four #4. The first appearance in Silver Age of Namor, Submariner. And I picked up 2 other books from there. So this is Psylocke #2, the David Finch. I've never owned any of these books. I've always seen them before. The #1 is where she's standing upright, and then this one she's flying through the air. And David Finch artwork. I know these are popular. Don't know if this one's for me. I've never had the the super strong desire or pull to pick up these covers, but when I saw it and for the sale that they had going on, I knew I had to pick it up. Whether it was for me or whether it was for one of you in the near future, this is a very nice high-grade copy of this book, and the first time I've ever owned any of these Psylocke covers. And I always pick up this book. I don't know how many copies I have of this right now, but it's Action Comics #835. This is the first appearance in continuity of Livewire. It's the first appearance in continuity until someone else has another obscure crazy book like Captain Atom or something like that, or Captain Carrot #300, and then this one won't be prominent anymore. But I always like this book. I do like the Superman Adventures book. I think it's #4 or 5, where it's the first appearance ever until something else comes out, and then it's not the first appearance. But this is Action Comics #835, first appearance in continuity of Livewire, and I think hopefully it stands forever, but otherwise it's still a great cover. So either before or after I went to the Comic Cave, I went to an antique shop. It's an antique shop that I go to pretty often in Springfield because they have 2 dealers down there that have quite a significant amount of comic books. And I picked up the Standards Comics Jungle Gym #13. It's a pretty cool cover. It's a very nice copy. I mean, there's a little bit of chipping there, but other than that, I mean, for a Golden Age comic from the late 40s, early 50s, pretty solid. No real chunks missing off. No writing, which is surprising because a lot of the Golden Age books that I picked up have writing or somebody's name on them. But one thing I will point out to you, other than this kind of pretty neat cover, is the cover artist. His name is Paul Norris. Now, I don't know if anyone knows anything about Paul Norris. Maybe Marky316. I would probably bet that Marky316 knows a little bit about that, so shout out to the New York Warriors and Marky316. Paul Norris is the first artist who ever drew Aquaman. So the first appearance of Aquaman, Paul Norris was the artist. And I think he may have done a couple more of the Aquaman books and Aquaman titles. I don't know if he was a longtime DC artist, but yeah, Paul Norris, Jungle Gym number 13, got it for 10 bucks, and I couldn't turn it down. I'm really not sure where I got these next two books. They've kind of been sitting in this pile for quite a while, but if I were to guess, it would be Reader's World in Springfield, Illinois. I picked up Tales of Suspense 76. It's one that I don't have in the Tales of Suspense run. As you can see, there's plenty of Tales of Suspense behind me. Kind of really like those Iron Man, Captain America double stories. So picked up 76. 75 is the first appearance of Sharon Carter, which I still need that book, and I think that shop has one, but we haven't come together on a price. Maybe he sold it or not. I can't remember why I didn't pick that up, but Tales of Suspense 76. Halfway decent copy. There's a little bit of staining right there. Not quite sure what that is, but other than that, it's pretty decent, probably a mid-grade 4.0. I'm not sure what that stain does to it, so maybe 3.0 to 4.0, somewhere in there. But really like this book. It shows the gladiator, the girl, and the glory. So there's that, Tales of Suspense 36. And then I got another copy of Tales of Suspense 77, and this is the first appearance of Peggy Carter. Has an Ultimo appearance there. And once again, just love these. I think this is a little bit of a lower condition book, and I'll show you some of the damage there. There's a lot of color breaking, bends and creases right there, but it still presents very nicely. This portion of the book, actually just this top corner area is good. There's a color breaking crease right along there as well. So, but first appearance of Peggy Carter, and I thought that was pretty cool since she was pretty prominent in, at least in the end of Endgame. Really like that, how they brought her back in the middle and the end as well. But Tales of Suspense 77, really important character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just the Marvel universe in general. First appearance of Peggy Carter. Let me back up just a few seconds again. I did pick up this book in that X-Men collection and was real happy to pick up another one of these X-Men Sword of the Braddocks #1, and just a great, I think this is Alex Gardner, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Alex Gardner cover of Psylocke. Absolutely one of my most favorite Psylocke covers, and Alex Gardner is just a definitely awesome artist, and you know him from some of his Wonder Woman variants. But this is a great Alex Gardner cover, and I will always try to pick this up if I can. The next book is a book that I recorded the clip for my last video and then forgot to add it, published the video, released it, and then didn't want to go back and delete the video and then change it up. But it is Fantastic Four. This is King Size Special #6, the first appearance of Annihilus, as well as the birth of Franklin Richards. And I'm really happy to get this. I got it off an Instagrammer for 10 bucks, and it's in very nice condition. Just could use a pressing. And yeah, I'm very happy to own this. This is the first time I've ever owned it, and it goes great into my Silver Age Fantastic Four run. First appearance of Annihilus and birth of Franklin Richards. So here it is. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I've got two more piles here of books, and this first one, they're all stealth buys the rest of the way out. I don't know if anyone has experienced this with one of their comic book shops, but when the comic book shop knows that you're a collector, when they know that you know what you're looking at, and they know that you're buying books of value. So let me take a step back. When other people bring books up, it could be a $100 book, but if they bring it up and he doesn't know them, they just Joe Schmo off the street. Oh, those are, you know, X number of dollars per book. No big deal, no markup, no research, no nothing. But when I bring up the books, since he knows that I know what I'm looking at, he knows that I have done my homework and that I'm buying books of value. He looks them up. Go Collect, Comic Book Realm, Overstreet, eBay. I mean, there's thorough research being done while I'm at the counter on every single one of my books. So I have to be a little bit smarter about when I buy, how I buy, what I buy, and, you know, put some distraction books in there, or buy when the other clerk is there. Put my books back until I can buy at a more opportune time. But I just know that there's a little bit of unfairness going on when I buy versus when someone off the street buys, just because of the relationship that they know that I buy books of value. So I found 3 books that are stealth buys. The first one is Mockingbird #8, and this is that I guess it was it was popular because of the t-shirt that Mockingbird is wearing, asking me about my feminist agenda. And so this one picked up steam. I got this for cover price, so I was really happy to do that. And I think it's maybe 3 times cover, 15, 20 bucks in value, maybe up to $30. I don't know. Do your research before you hunt after this book. But this is a mint condition, no blemishes at all. Potentially a 9.8 candidate. I just thought this was a really cool book. I've always liked it, and when I was searching through the books, I saw it. I knew I wanted to try to snag this one up. So these next 2 were stealth buys as well. This was also cover price, but when I say cover price, it was $3 because there is no cover price because this is not for sale. It was a retailer exclusive. As you know, Blackest Night Zero had their regular cover, it had free comic book day cover, and then it had the promotional retailer exclusive copy, like 1 per retailer. And that was a very expensive book now. And Blackest Night number 8 with the retailer exclusive. That is that retailer exclusive label there, where if you see that on the books, you can tell that that's the retailer exclusive copy. And then this is a white background. This is a variant cover to this book. I believe, I can't remember what the Blackest Night number 8, I think it's got all the different lanterns posed, all the different color lanterns, heroes posed, but was really happy to pick this up. Don't really know what it's going for, but was happy to be able to get this for $3 and not pay an exorbitant amount for this book. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got it. It needs a press. It's a white cover, but it's got a corner ding down there. A couple of these books that I got out of this lot were corner dings, which look like they'll press out, because that one didn't really break color. So happy to have this retailer exclusive to pair up nicely with the Blackest Night Zero retailer exclusive, kind of bookend that collection. And the one that I'm so happy and the most happy about was, for the longest time they've had runs of this series, and they've never had the last couple issues, or the first couple issues for that matter. But it's an upgrade, and I've got both copies with me. But I was able to pick this up for $4, and this is Power Girl number 27. So this was quite a bit of a stealth buy. Power Girl number 27 by Warren Liu, artist. So that is probably the cover that people most associate with that artist. Power Girl number 27, I would assume it's a lower print run because it's the last in that series, or at least that's what people say. I've not done any research on that to confirm or deny that. This is a very, very nice, clean copy. It is probably a 9.6 or 9.8 candidate, so I'm definitely going to have that pressed and cleaned and then sent off for grading. But it is an upgrade from my other copy that I have, which I'm also considering pressing and cleaning and having that graded. Let me show you guys a little bit up close about the defects on this. It was a little bit dirtier, but I cleaned it up. As you can see, there's just some waviness, and there's a corner crunch up there. There's some. It's a white cover, so I assume once these get pressed out, it'll look pretty good, because they're really not gloss breaking. When it's a white cover, I can't really say color breaking, but they look like they don't break the gloss on the cover. So really happy to have a second copy, and I'm really tempted. I was always tempted to get this one graded, but I didn't think it would be worth it, because pressed and all, it'll probably come back like a 9. Hopefully a 9. I'd really hope for that. 9 or better, but maybe press might make this look really good. But when I got a 9.6, 9.8 candidate, I thought I'd grade them both, and it would be an awesome pair to have. So really happy to have those and to get that one on a really nice stealth buy. These next 4 books, I'm not going to give away the name of the establishment because there's still books that I want to get there, but it's a very, very old newsstand. Now I know Bubs Comics talks a lot about Bonnet Books being a very, very old newsstand, going back generations. This book store also goes back generations. And right now they're primarily a archival bookstore as well as a record and used game store. So very, very strange, and they do have comics, tons and tons of comics, and they have hundreds of thousands of comics because they said they saved everything. So I can't imagine what they have in there, but it's one of those places where he won't go get me books unless I come up with the money. So say I wanted an AF-15. Unless I bring 10 to 20 grand and show it to him, he's not even going to look for the book. So he just says, with that many books in storage, I can't just go be looking for books at random and not be guaranteed that I'm going to sell them. So I got these next 4 books from this awesome shop. So another interesting story about how this shop works, or at least how it used to work. There were different ages of when the books were priced. So if they were priced in the 80s, they would probably have to update those prices as we brought them to the counter. If there were new, more recent price stickers, those would fly. Those would be the prices of the books. So I was curious what I was going to face this time, because there would be books, you know, key issues that he would have to look like New Mutants 98. It was marked at $1, and I brought it up to the counter. That's obviously an old price, so he had to look that up. He knew what it was, so that was an old price. This is just an example. But this time I went there, I saw these prices, and they, to me, were the old prices. But he said, those are the prices that we're going to go with today. We're not going to look up any books. If you see a price on there, that's what you're going to pay. So I was pretty excited about that. This first book, and I did keep all of the price stickers. I peeled them off the old bags and then put them on these new bags, because I rebagged everything. So this first one is $5. And it was in very rough condition. As you can see, when I turn it around, it is probably a 1.8. I would call it a 1.8, but it's Strange Tales 126. It's from November of 1964, and this is the first appearance of Dormammu, who is probably Doctor Strange's greatest nemesis, and who is a universal threat level villain. So Dormammu is pretty awesome. It was $5, and I couldn't turn it down. Even at a 1.8, $5 is a good deal. Now I saw another one recently, is probably 3.0 to 4.0, and they wanted $95 with, I think, 40% off. So I'm thinking about going back and getting that book. Going back and getting that book. But happy to have Strange Tales 126, even if it is like a 1.8. It's firmly attached at the staples. That is the majority of the damage right there. Just this chipping right here. That's pretty nasty Marvel chipping, but happy to have the first appearance of Dormammu, the greatest villain of Doctor Strange and a universal threat level character. I'm going to show the price again first of what I paid. I paid $10 for this book, and I think it's well worth it, considering the fact that this is a very, very significant classic story. So this is Fantastic Four number 51. It is a pretty beat up copy. As you can see, there's just a little bit of Marvel chipping at the top. Other than that, that's about the extent of the damage. Oh, and there's a little water damage right there in this area. But still a very, very classic story where Ben Grimm turns into a normal human being, and the guy who turned him into the normal human turns into the Thing, and he's going to go beat up on the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards. Reed Richards gets caught in the negative zone, and this character, can't remember the villain that posed as Thing or transferred into that body. He actually sacrificed himself for the sake of Reed Richards. So I was really happy to get this book. It's my second copy. The other one's really nice, and so happy to have this for $10. I could definitely not leave it at the store for that. And that's kind of the reason why I didn't pick up some of the other books that I wanted, was because I didn't want to leave this. I didn't want to leave that Dormammu and these next 2 books for what I paid for them either. So Fantastic Four 51, just a great classic story. Obviously, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I'd actually been looking at this book to buy for quite some time, and I think I had him set it aside years ago, and then he eventually just put it back into his back issue bins. But this is Tales to Astonish, number 49. It's the first appearance of Giant Man, so it's the first time Hank Pym turns into Giant Man, and I paid $50 for this. This is actually the most expensive book that I bought that day at that shop. But $50 for this book, and I'm definitely really happy to have that. Tales to Astonish 49, first appearance of Giant Man, in really nice condition. I think one of the reasons that motivated me to buy this book, obviously Giant Man making appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was really cool, seeing Ant-Man turn large in Civil War, and then Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Endgame. Really, really cool how they use Giant Man. Absolutely love it. And I really think that that's going to be a prominent feature in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also, another motivating factor, I believe Comichaulics bought this a couple months ago, And it's just always been a book that I've wanted. Obviously, I put it on hold a couple of years ago, but never went back to pull the trigger for 50 bucks. And I thought for 50 bucks, it's a good deal. So I went back and I pulled the trigger on this one. And the last one that I picked up in from that store was a crazy situation. And I'm going to show you the back of what I paid for it. So I paid $30 for this next book. I was really happy to do so. I mean, you guys are going to see why. But it's the first appearance of a character. And the second appearance of the same character was marked, there was 2 copies, and they were both marked over $100. So I'm not 100% sure what happened, whether this was an old price sticker just based on old news, based on no news at the time of when that was priced. But for some reason, the very next issue was two copies of it priced over $100. And so as soon as I saw the price on this, I was like, what is the price on this? And he goes, $30 is what you're going to pay for that book if you want it. And so I'm really, really happy. This is probably 3.0 to 3.5 condition. I would say that because it's really solid copy, but there is a pretty big color breaking crease and some chipping here at the bottom. But happy to have for my collection, and I did get rid of my other copy that I got from Aim High Comics, but really happy to have this copy. That was also a very, very low copy, but Fantastic Four 52, first appearance of Black Panther for $30. $30. And as you can see, there is that color breaking crease right there that goes pretty much over a fourth of the comic book, and then you can see some of the chipping there at the bottom. But to be for the prices that this book is right now, really out of reach with Black Panther 2 coming out, please, please, please. I've seen some teaser fan-made posters about Black Panther 2, The Two Kings. If it was Black Panther, T'Challa versus Namor, the Submariner, I mean, could you imagine how awesome that movie would be? But Fantastic Four 52, first appearance of Black Panther. This book, I ended up reading this book when I got it, because I don't think I've ever read this book. And I take that back. I've never read this book. Black Panther 52 is a weird book. It must explain what happens, but it reminds me of like you invite your friends over to play, and then as soon as you get there, you just ambush them and beat the crap out of them. I mean, that's not cool to me. Like, I think, like, that would be like my buddy called me, oh yeah, I get to play date with my friend across the street. And then I get there, and then him and another friend just beat the living crap out of me, and then like practice all their like karate moves on me. Okay, so that's what happens in this book. They get a new Fantastic Four jet or something like that, and they're said, "Where'd you get the jet?" Well, it was a gift from a prince or a king in Africa, and so they go over to Wakanda to meet the kind donor of the Fantastic Four jet or car or ship or whatever it was. And then Black Panther just runs them through pretty much a gauntlet of butt kicking. And then at the very end of the book, when they they defeat him, or they get together and like stop him from beating him up, he's like, well, let me explain. And then so that's like the next issue is where they explain the origins and what's going on with why he's fighting them. But if you just picked up this one book and read it, it would be jacked up. You probably wouldn't like what happened in this issue. So anyways, I'm happy everything worked out. And everybody can be friends and allies now. But yeah, happy to have this weird book in my collection. Let me know if you've read this book and what your immediate thoughts are when you read it. And then if you read 53, which I should probably do before I talk smack about this one, to understand why he ambushed his new friends. But anyways, I'm going long-winded. I'm a little sick, so I'm just, maybe I'm delirious right now. But anyways, that was an awesome pickup. And that's it, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed and you're new here, welcome to the channel. Hit that subscription button. Also hit that bell to be notified when there's other videos. And also if you could check out some of these other videos, I would love to see you guys back on a future one. I will talk to you all soon. See ya. Bye.